Today is a beautiful convergence of faith, of our faith, our shared faith, and different cultures. We celebrate today, the church tells us to celebrate the Right to Life Sunday, reminding ourselves of the dignity of every human life. And at the same time, we rejoice with our Filipino brothers and sisters who are so happy to have you with us here today. And welcome if you're not a parishioner here. We're so glad to have you. But we rejoice with them in this Sinulog festival, honoring the Santo Niño, the Holy Child of Jesus. And these are not two separate themes, but they are deeply connected. In today's gospel, John the Baptist points to Jesus and says, "Behold the Lamb of God." And it is striking that John does not begin by describing what Jesus will do, but by declaring who he is. Jesus is first revealed not as a teacher or a miracle worker, but as God's gift, a life given for the world. And that is where the sanctity of life begins. Not with what a person can do, but who they are. The prophet Isaiah echoes this truth, and God says, "You are my servant. I will make you a light to the nations, that my salvation may reach to the ends of the earth." Before any achievement, before any success, the servant is known. The servant is known, formed, and loved by God. Life has purpose because it comes from God. Every human life, born, unborn, young, old, healthy, fragile, every life has meaning because God has claimed it as his own. And that is why Right to Life Sunday is not just about opposing something, it's about proclaiming something. That every life matters because every life is created and called by God. And that is where the image of the Santo Niño that we look upon today becomes so powerful. The Santo Niño shows us something radical about God. God did not come into the world as a warrior or a king on a throne, but as a child. Small, vulnerable, dependent on others. And that choice alone, God forever elevated human life, especially at its most fragile stages. So look at the symbols of the Santo Niño. The crown and the scepter tell us that this child is a king. This child is a king. The orb reminds us that all creation belongs to him. Everything. The red cape points ahead to his passion and sacrifice. He's given his life for the world. And yet, he is still a child, teaching us humility, trust, obedience, and joy. The message is clear. Greatness and vulnerability are not opposites in God's kingdom. St. Paul begins his letter today by reminding the Corinthians and us that we are called to be holy. Holiness does not mean being powerful in the world's eyes. It means allowing Christ to live in us. And Christ chooses again first to become a little child in his mother's womb. That is why the Santo Niño is such a fitting image for us on this Right to Life Sunday. When we honor the child Jesus, we are reminded that every child is a blessing, not a burden. Every life is worthy of love, protection, and care. And not because it is perfect, not because we are perfect, but because we and they belong to God. John the Baptist says, I did not know him, but now I have seen and testified. And our task today is similar. We are called to see, to recognize Christ present in every human life, and to testify by how we live, by how we speak, and by how we love. The Sinulog dance, which I think I'm going to see here later on today, hopefully, right? But it's a joyful proclamation. Call on the Lord. It is faith expressed with the whole body. Today, may our lives become a kind of Sinulog, moving to the rhythm of God's love, defending life, welcoming the vulnerable, and rejoicing that God chose to come among us as a little child. And as we honor the Santo Niño and affirm the sanctity of human life, may we never forget this simple and challenging truth. If God chose to enter the world as a child, then every life, especially the smallest and most vulnerable, is sacred ground. Behold the Lamb of God. Behold the child. And let us always choose love and life.